Neural DSP just dropped the long-awaited update to one of their most popular plugins ever, the Archetype Nolly X. I've been playing this for a couple weeks now, and yes, there are all the new features that you would expect from a X update. New pitch shifter, stereo doubling effect, and eventual compatibility with the quad cortex in the very near future at the time of recording this video. But if you simply just updated it, played with your same tones that you always had without taking another deep dive look into the plugin, there might be some hidden features that you might have missed. And what better way to go through them than by reading a briefing from Nolly himself, where he gave me and other content creators a little lowdown on what these features are. This is what it sounds like in a mix. Going into the plugin, we can see that there's a brand new updated set of visuals, which can be expected with all of the X updates coming from Neural DSP. I also have my own artist presets within there. So if you go under the presets tab under artists, it won't show up for me at the moment because I'm on the beta version, but on the full release version, when you guys download the update, it will be there along with many other very, very cool artists. And you can play all of these presets that you see here. So firstly, if we go into the effects section, it looks mostly the same, right? You get your 4 pedals, but those with a keen eye might have noticed this little switch over here. This switch here was not there in the previous iteration of the Archetype Nolly plugin. It is now included as a high shelf within the green overdrive pedal. Nolly says, I love this and I leave it in this mode all the time. It adds some extra articulation and clarity without making things harsh. The flat setting works best with really bright guitars and traditional active pickups. Basically, I'd advise you to treat the bright mode as the new default. So that's how I've been treating it, to be honest. I have to agree. I think that this is something that I always thought was slightly lacking with the Nolly plugin, and that the traditional tube screamer type green 808 style overdrive didn't really work well with super low tuned or extended range guitars. I'd often find myself using other pedals from other Neural DSP plugins, such as like the Fort and Nameless pedals, which are more catered towards that, very sharp, very succinct, articulate, high gain, modern metal, extended range guitar sound. But now with this new addition, the articulation is great and it works just as I'd like it to with my high gain rhythm guitars. Going into the cab section, you might have noticed straight away that there is now a room send for every single cab, which is neat. Although that is not the new feature that we're about to talk about. If you venture into the mic drop-down list, you will notice that there is a whole set of new mics for a completely new speaker for every single cab. There's one here, the new speaker CB74. There's also one here for the open greenback, and there's also one in the lead cab as well. Cabinet 3 is definitely the one that I use the most, and according to Nolly, it is a brand new vintage 30 speaker from the year 2000, captured in the top position of an angled cab so that the tone is really focused and huge, a lot more aggressive and bold than the existing option, but still really rich as well. After trialing them back and forth, I definitely agree that the new angled speaker is much more suited to that cleaner, super focused modern metal sound, which is something that I tend to go for a lot in my tones. Now, the next feature is not as hidden as the others, but it's definitely something that you might have missed if you didn't read the website or the emails. Going into the EQ section, we now have this little switch above the EQ module labeled Nolly's mod, and what happens when you turn that on is that it changes the values for the EQs. So you can see here that when it's on original, they're different values, and now with the Nolly mod, it targets different frequencies. This is something that I definitely did not expect, but I'm very glad that it made its way in, as it makes so much sense. So now instead of 65, we have 75, 125, 150, 250 is the same, 500 to 400, 1K to 800, 2K to 1.5, 4K to 4.5, 8K is the same, and 16K is now 12K. The best part is that you can switch in and out of these two EQ sets to find out which one works best for you. I find the original EQ values work really well for lead tones, especially being able to cut that 500 out really easily. However, I do find that these new values in the Nolly mod offer a much more purposeful EQ range for my general approach to EQing heavy, high gain rhythm guitars. As the new values of like 400, 800, 1.5, they offer a little bit more control in the mid range, which is typically where you're going to get most of those guitars in a mix. Did you guys notice these new features in the update? Let me know in the comments below if you've already updated. And if you've made it to this point in the video, here's a 10% off code for all of my Neural DSP tones on my web store. That will only be available until the next video drop. So I'll catch you then. Peace.